Good afternoon and welcome. It is I, Beck Altar, joining you all once again for some more Ashes of Creation chat. Today, we're going to talk about the corruption system because I finally feel like I have enough of a counter argument to make against some of the things that are in it. It doesn't really look like a whole lot has changed. So we're going to watch a video from Ashes 101. And this video is from April 25th, 2019. So it's over a year old, but as far as I understand, the information is still relevant. It's still true. And so we're going to go over the corruption system based on the video and discuss what do we think are the pros and cons of this system. I definitely have a few issues with it. Now, that being said, I'm coming at this from a PvP PvE point of view. I am pretty much a PvE guy. I'm not a big fan of PvP. I don't mind it when I can opt in to PvP. Now, there's a lot of things in this game that require you to opt into PvP if you want to do certain things. I'm okay with that, right? Like, it's forcing you into PvP only in so much that it makes sense in the gameplay and the lore and the style of everything to do that. What I don't like is I'm minding my own business and somebody comes up and ganks me. And there's no penalty or whatever, right? Or there's little penalty. And so the corruption system kind of speaks to that, but I still think there's some serious flaws because I think the corruption system is still, it's not dissuading people from player killing out in the wild who are, people who are not otherwise interested in being engaged with in that way. And we'll kind of, I think we'll kind of go with the video here and interject where needed. If you do have some thoughts and comments about things, please speak up in chat and we'll have a conversation. So this is a 16-minute video, which means this will probably be an hour-long YouTube video, but we'll see. Anyways, let's begin with the video. And thank you to my subscribers and followers.
All right, guys, it's Shalom with the Paradox Gaming Network, and today we are going to continue Ashes 101 on PvP. This is going to be your introduction to PvP Part 2. We're going to talk about corruption, and this video is going to be pretty long. There are a lot of misconceptions about corruption. I'm going to repeat something several times throughout the video, because sometimes it takes 3 or 4 times for somebody to hear something before it sinks in. I want to let everybody know this is updated as of April 2019. So when we talk about corruption, we're going to talk about it in 2 ways. We're going to talk about the game mechanics, and corruption is the penalty for murder. And then we're going to talk about the lore, because it's what caused the Exodus, and it's also the explanation for some of the mechanics and why they work the way they do. Now you'll notice I have the word murder in red. This is my term, and it is my term for the very specific 2-step process of flagging for PvP and killing an individual who remains a non-combatant and does not defend themselves. Now, I need people to understand it is very, very specific for when you will get corruption. So the commonly used terms of PKing, ganking, griefing, and murder, these are not going to be synonymous for Ashes of Creation. So I need everybody to be very cognizant of what word they use in order to stop other people from having confusion. Because some people think PKing and ganking are the same thing, and they're not. PKing is just player killing. There will be a time and place to kill other players that you get no penalty, and then there will be a time and place where you would grief somebody, but again, you're not going to get corruption because you griefed them.
And that's the problem, right? Is griefing, and again, splitting hairs on definition. Okay, PKing is player killing. Player killing can lead to griefing, because griefing is where you've killed me. I say, Warcraft, I have to run back to my corpse, grab my stuff. You kill me again, right? And you basically make it impossible for me to do something. Or, there's a situation where because of where I respawn and where I died and the travel point between respawn and maybe a safe place, you are there. you're blocking the road, I can't get to where I need to go, and you keep killing me. That could technically fall under griefing. Ganking is usually where it's more than one player that is kind of coming into one or other lower players and just, ganking is where you basically have no ability to win that fight, right? It's like a level 50 comes in on a level 10, right? That's a gank, right? You have no chance of surviving. And then, as you know, murder. So in his definition here of murder, it's the two-step process. I think it's killing somebody without cause or reason to do so, or in the context of a game, without both people being agreeable to the PvP combat situation. And again, this will flesh out more, in my opinion, as the video goes on.
But you didn't murder them. You've blown up their caravan 15 times. Yeah, that could be considered griefing them, but it's not murdering them. So let's make sure we use the right words at the right time.
And again, if you're blowing up somebody's caravan 15 times, maybe that person who's creating that PvP system should just stop, take a breath, pick a different route. They're just being stupid where you're just doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. That's just insanity. Again, if you create a caravan, you are willfully engaging in that system, right? So you should expect to probably be attacked. Now, whether it's the same person or group of people that have attacked you 15 times, or it's 15 different groups of people, the mechanic is still the same. You flag when you start your caravan, that creates the PvP system, and you are agreeing to the consequences, the risk reward of that system. You are not agreeing to that type of system when you're out farming, picking herbs or whatever, and you are not flagged. If you are not flagged, that means you are not prepared or whatnot for PvP. Should you always be prepared? To an extent, yes, but most people, if they're going to attack a flagged person, are going to be of a higher level and or ability, and they're going to know this, right? I might run around as a cleric and somebody's running around as a fighter. Chances are I'm not going to last too long, right? I might be able to hold them off for a little while, but at the end of the day, I'm probably going to lose. K-Bub says ganking a premeditative thought to kill someone in a way you have the upper hand, providing a strategy or group of successful execution. Well, I mean, if you want to take it down to legalese, sure.
So what that means is corruption happens outside of the open world battlegrounds system, also known as meaningful PvP. And if you don't know what I mean by those terms, up there in the upper right hand corner, go watch the overview, because in Ashes of Creation and the way the mechanics work, words are going to matter, so you need to have your foundation. I do want to be crystal clear. There is no corruption during caravans, castle sieges, guild wars, node sieges, and node wars. Corruption does not apply.
And that's
So what I want
because
to do is I want to show you the two.
that's because they are all PvP systems that you have to willfully engage in. And again, we'll probably cover some of that as the video here goes on. Anyways, we'll continue.
Part system, the attack and the kill. So here is from the Ashes of Creation wiki. I borrowed their chart for combat stages and what your status is. The first part of this is the attack, and a non-combatant flags to kill a non-combatant or a corrupted. Oh, I'm sorry. A non-combatant flags to kill another non-combatant or a combatant. They become a combatant. There is no status change when you attack a corrupted, and I'm going to go into that one a little bit later. But you'll notice that the non-combatant attacks a non-combatant, and they only become a combatant because this is only part one. This is the attack. The next part means that you could stop and not kill somebody and not gain corruption. The corruption isn't gained until the second part on the kill.
So this is where there's a flaw, right? This is where there's an an exploitable flaw in this system. And this is one of the problems that I have with this system. If you are attacking, maybe you're engaged with a mob, right? An NPC boar. And that you and that boar are fairly evenly matched. Maybe you're trying to attack above your level a little bit for that little sweet bonus XP. So this boar has you down to say a third, 2/3 of your life. Is still there. The boar you got down to maybe halfway by this point. So you are likely going to win, but you're probably going to be at a quarter of your life or less when you win. Now I come along, I flag, and I go chop, 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 and then I stop attacking you. Now I've lowered your life from that 2/3 to a third, or maybe a little less. The boar still has about half of its life. That boar kills you. I do not get corrupted, but you just dropped a bunch of loot, and I get to pick it up. So because I weakened you versus the mob that you were fighting, you die, you take the experience hit, you take the inventory loss, and I'm pretty sure I get to loot your corpse because the mob, I still hit you. So tagging rules should technically still come into play because I still tagged you and I still did 40% damage or something like that, right? So that I see as a significant flaw in this system because you could easily just walk around, just tapping these lobies just enough that they're going to die to whatever they're attacking. I'm free and clear, and I'm probably still going to get to loot their stuff. I have not found anything that says otherwise, so I'm hoping that will be clarified at some point. But so far, I have not been able to find anything that clarifies. And I still have to go through the wiki more, but and the forums. The forums I haven't really gotten into yet. I've been really trying to look at Ashes 101 and the wiki because that's easier information to digest as opposed to scrolling through hundreds of entries and trying to figure out what's the legitimate information and then what's just everybody's kind of conjecture. And I understand that's what I'm doing right now is just adding conjecture.
So you became a combatant, and the person you were attacking remained a non-combatant. Now you're corrupted.
If they die.
But if the person you attacked flagged to defend themselves, they also became a combatant. So there is no change because there is no corruption penalty for attacking a combatant.
It's because you both
Now, the other
agree
one
to
is
the
if
PvP.
you're corrupted and you kill a non-combatant, you get more corruption. But as a corrupted, if you kill a combatant or you kill another corrupted, there is no change. So I need everybody to look at these charts and understand them because a lot of people got it in their head that once you're corrupted, everybody you kill grants more corruption, and that is not true.
Oh, it's only killing non-combatants. Only non-combatants.
That is a misunderstanding of the system and why people have blown this out of proportion. You only gain more corruption if you kill a non-combatant. Break this down a little bit further with some parts removed. You've got this part of it is one of the two highly controversial parts of the system. You have the why a non-combatant can choose to attack. And the rationale lore-wise is that corrupted are monsters. Mechanically, the game is going to view them as no different than an NPC as part of the environment. Now, the other part of that is this side is once you are corrupted, anyone can attack you. Your opponents can stay non-combatants, and this kind of screws you over because if they kill you, you die. If you kill them, you get more corruption.
So this is kind of a damned if you do kind of situation, right? Where, yeah, if you attack a non-combatant, corrupted, you get more corruption. If a non-combatant attacks you, they do not need to flag. And they will not get corruption because you're the corrupted one and you are basically seen as an NPC. This is going to come into one of my other big concerns here very shortly is this idea that mechanically the game sees you as an NPC.
Now, A lot of people are, you know, still upset about this one. I want to break this down how it works, and then I want to show you what I'm hoping we can maybe get Steven to adopt, but we'll see how this goes. So this is how it works so people can see graphically. You have this individual who is corrupted, and you have this non-combatant, and it doesn't matter who attacks who, the non-combatant stays a non-combatant, never gets the flag status. How some people want this to work is if that non-combatant elects to attack the corrupted, what some of the open world PvPers want to have happen is this individual then would become a combatant. They elected to join combat. Now, Steven's explanation is why he doesn't want that is somebody would run around being corrupted as bait, people would flag up to kill him, and then what happens is these other individuals that are friends of the corrupted guy would just jump in, kill you, and then there would never be an in-depth portion to the corruption system. You'd basically have one person, just a little bit of corruption.
That's exactly how it would happen.
Everybody would flag to try to kill him.
That's exactly how it would happen.
Yeah, unfortunately, gamers, we have to accept the fact that, yeah, we would do that. We would game that system. So here's how I think it should work. So the open world PvPers, I want you to know, I'm on your side in this. I don't like the fact that a non-combatant can flag. So here's how I think it should work. You have your corrupted individual, and you have your non-combatant. If the corrupted individual chooses to attack the non-combatant, the mechanics as they are written today would remain in place. But if that non-combatant chooses to be the aggressor and attack the non-combatant, he should have to take the combatant flag, which then would open him up to the situation where he gets
and I disagree with that. People,
but that is the price you pay when you sacrifice your non-combatant status. Maybe it's my background in the military and non-combatant being drilled in the back of my head.
But okay, here's the problem though. In the military, you have rules of engagement. We have rules in society where we would not act in this way. Humans don't act in that pack situation in most places, right? I mean, Chicago and Baltimore and Portland might be a little different these days. But right now, humans in general don't really do that. And in the military, again, you have strict rules of engagement. There's policies, rules, laws, all of these things that have been created to help make sure that these situations don't happen. Now, again, a corrupted person is the evil person, right? These other two people, they're not corrupted, but they are technically acting with an evil intent. So although they won't get corrupted if you flag, the intent is to try and get you to flag, right? So you're a non-combatant to engage with the corrupted, and then these other people come in and flank you or whatever from the side. That's the strategy. That's the game here. And I think the fact that you remain a non-combatant prevents this from happening. Because if you didn't have that bit of prevention in there, you would literally have roaming bandits of people that are going to be at issue here. Dirty Rotten Scallywag. I actually agree with this. I feel like there are going to be bounty hunters with no combatant meat shields. Or with non-combatant meat shields. Well, see, here's the problem with the bounty hunters. With that situation, bounty hunters will always know where the corrupted are. They show up on a map, right? So as a bounty hunter, you will always know where the corrupted are. So in the situation of the bounty hunter, if you're corrupted, yeah, you can have your friends there and have them take down the bounty hunters or try to take down the bounty hunters. Because I think the bounty hunters flag differently. And we might get into the bounty hunter video, and that I think better explains it. I think we'll only watch that video once. But in this situation, I do not agree with Jalen here that if you are a non-combatant, you're being attacked by a corrupted, and so you fight back, that you should become flagged. I don't think so. That should not happen. Part of the reason, and this is a double-edged sword, the combatant is seen by the system as an NPC mob. So the server, basically, sees anybody that's corrupted as just a wild boar, a wild bear, whatever, right? It doesn't see it as a player. Now, when you attack a boar or a deer, you do not flag. And that's why that system would remain, that you would not flag fighting a corrupted. Now, that being said, if you're non-corrupted and you're going after a corrupted, that would make you a bounty hunter. And yeah, we'll look at the bounty hunter mechanics and kind of see how that goes. But I think just from the point of view of, I'm just out there picking herbs, and some corrupted guy comes out to ambush me or comes out to attack me, I should be able to defend myself or not in either case. And this is where we're going to get into another one of my big issues with the system, because as far as I'm concerned, the corruption system is meant as a deterrent to to engaging in PvP outside of the PvP systems already in play.
But I definitely get what Steven is saying, and I definitely support what he's saying. I'm just thinking that we can do it this way and make it a little bit better and a little bit more interesting. And this is where I need you guys' help.
So this is where I would say, if we were to do it in Jalen's way, if you die, you should not lose anything, or only take the death hit, say 50% of the death hit, and you lose nothing of your gear. Would a healer healing a corrupted become corrupted or combatant? And that we don't know yet. I think that's not something we're going to learn till probably closer to alpha. But that is a very good question, and that is very relevant question, right? But I think that kind of speaks to this situation where you have the corrupted and a couple of friends hiding in the bushes, right? So the corrupted guy is attacking, or sorry, a non-combatant attacks the corruption guy because he's a low-hanging fruit, the corruption guy. And then you have a healer, and you have something else hiding in the maybe an archer or a fighter or something hiding in the bush. Can they come out and assist their corrupted buddy? How I would do it is say, you have to flag, right? So the healer's going to have to be flagged, I would think, because the corrupted person becomes permanently flagged as long as they are corrupted. So the healer, in order to heal the corrupted, would have to be flagged. So I think at the very minimum, the healer becomes a valid target, which means you could kill the healer and get no corruption yourself. I agree with you there. The non-combatant should only flag if they initiate combat first. You would just become flagged. This question was already answered. Yeah, exactly. You have to flag. That was a fairly recent one, I think. But the question, I think, is that's only if you're healing a flagged person, not healing a corrupted player, because then are you not supporting their corruption? I would almost say if you're corrupted, you shouldn't be able to receive player heals or buffs, because you are, again, the system thinks that you're an NPC, so you're kind of outside of the player bubble, right? Because you have your player bubble, and then you have the corrupted person who's outside that bubble, because the mechanically the server thinks you're an NPC. So I would think that you couldn't actually heal somebody who's corrupted. So they'd have to self-heal, and that would be it. That'd be kind of my take on this. Not enough is known. That's the sad part about this. But if you attack a combatant healer, you flag, and then you can be killed by the others. Okay, but you can be killed by the others under any circumstance. Yeah, exactly, right? If you're a non-combatant, people can come and kill you at any time. It's what do you do, right? Do you fight back, or do you let them kill you? And that's where I have one of my biggest issues with how they have it currently set up. With penalties, well, I mean, if you flag for PvP and they kill you, the penalties are a lot less than if you do not flag, and that I do not agree with. But we'll get to that part.
So I want to talk about the mechanics of the death penalty now, and this is another one where people don't really get it. They've read a little bit and they've run off with their hysterics. Let's really drill down into these. So upon your death, you're going to get a death penalty, and this is gaining negative experience. This isn't losing experience. You're going to gain negative experience. You're never going to de-level. What you are going to have is a reduction of your stats. You also drop a percentage of your raw materials. A combatant takes a 50% death penalty. A non-combatant gets a 100% death penalty, and a corrupted gets a 300 to 400% death penalty. While a negative experience, like I said, your skills and your stats are reduced, you have lower health and mana, you have lower gear proficiency. So obviously you don't want to die a lot, and you definitely don't want to be corrupted because when you die, you're going to get a lot more negative experience. Now the PvP are concerned. Nobody will fight back.
I think there should be party flagging. Maybe have a warning saying one of your party is flagging and give you the opportunity to leave group. And if you join party with a corrupted, you gain it as well. Just spitballing. I would say I agree with party flagging in that, yes, if you join a party where they are flagged, you should auto flag. If a member of your party flags, I think it'd be fair to get a pop up and something that says you will be flagged within X amount of seconds. Now, of course, you could probably kill somebody in that amount of time. But I think, yeah, because I think if one person's going to run around flagged, that's going to do one of two things. Either that person's going out to PK and you're just along for the ride, which just makes you an accomplice. Or it opens up your group to being attacked because obviously something attacks your flagged friend. As the healer, I go to heal him. Well, I have to flag to heal him, which now exposes me to further attacks. It depends, I guess, on how the auto flagging works, but if nobody's really paying attention to what is attacking you, buddy gets attacked and you just turn and you just attack that target, right? You just hit the whatever the target of my target button, and you just hit an attack without actually looking at it. Oh crap, it's a player, and now as a level 10, you just ran up and dinged your dagger off the chest piece of a level 30. Now you flagged. Now what happens? Well, you get marfed, right? So yeah, I think it's fair that there should be some kind of system in place that yes, if one of your party is flagged, everybody should become aware of it through some means, because maybe you're on point, so you don't see them flag behind you, and you're just trotting along on point, thinking everything's fine, and then you just see this blur run past you or something blinks, attacks them. You don't see it, and again, now you could become involved in a PvP fight that you are not ready for and really didn't want to commit to. And this kind of gets into where this is going.
Want to underline here, you drop a percentage of your raw materials. But here's the big part. Combatants take a 50% death penalty. Now, in order to help illustrate this, what I'm going to be doing is giving an example. These are my example numbers for visual education, sample numbers for the concept. I'm going to be using 10,000 negative XP on death, and 50% of your gatherables drop. I do not have numbers from Intrepid. These are my numbers so that people can see this whole nobody's going to fight back concept is nonsense. So the first example is we're going to use corn. This is what's going on. You've got a farmer and he's out there and he's gathering wild corn. He needs it to make cornbread so he can advance his cooking, sell stuff at his tavern, whatever have you. And you got a PvPer comes along and decides, you know what, I want to kill this person. Now, there's a decision-making process that's going to go on in the farmer's head. Hey, I'm carrying 100 ears of corn, and these are pretty worthless. So I'm not going to fight back because I'm going to stick it to you. I'm going to make you take corruption for killing me. I don't really want to fight you. You outgear me, you outlevel me, you outskill me, whatever. So I'm not going to fight back. So here's your result. The farmer dies. Poor farmer. And he gets 10,000 negative XP because he died in PvP. He also drops 50 ears of corn because he drops 50% of his gatherables from my number. Again, my number. The knight.
So on death penalty, non-combatant, drops a percentage of raw materials, 100% death penalty. 100% death penalty. So how
Here's
much?
the big part.
How much loot are you going to
He
drop?
also drops 50 ears of corn because he drops 50% of his gatherables from my number. Again, my number.
So okay, so yeah, if you don't fight back, you take 100% negative XP and you drop 50 ears of corn. Why? Because if an NPC kills you, you get 100% of whatever the death thing is. Absolutely, I agree with that. But at this point, the flagged player is not mechanically seen as an NPC. Therefore, you should not drop 100% of whatever, or you shouldn't get 100% of negative XP as the victim of a player killer if you do not fight back. If you do not fight back, yes, you should lose a little bit of XP perhaps. You should lose, I would say, a small fraction of whatever you're gathering because you did not engage in the PvP. This does not disincentivize player killing, right? I mean, this actually kind of works in favor of the player because even if they get corrupted, they loot whatever you got and then they go kill a few animals or whatever and they burn off the corruption.
The knight, well, the problem is he's now committed murder. He has chosen a flag on somebody and killed somebody who remained a non-combatant and didn't defend themselves.
So why does the non-combatant suffer the greater loss by not engaging in PvP?
The knight commits murder.
That makes absolutely no sense.
He gains corruption, but he gets 50 ears of corn. He gets to pick up 50% of those gatherables. Now, the knight, while he's corrupted, that corruption is going to affect his stats, his skills, his health, his mana. The more corruption he gets, the harsher the effects. And if he keeps killing corn-gathering farmers, he's going to have the potential to drop his gear. When he dies and he finally clears all of his corruption, okay, he's just this one death is going to give him 30 to 40,000 XP loss. Again, my numbers. He's going to have that negative experience penalty where his stats, skills, health, mana, gear, proficiency are all reduced. So it's like a double whammy. So this is where I get where the PvPers of the world are saying, nobody will fight back and the system's going to suck.
Well, you shouldn't be PKing in the first place. Like that's the thing, right? Like this isn't PvP, right? He's saying, oh, the open world PvPers. No, but this isn't PvP. That's the problem, right? This is basically mugging somebody, right? I mean, that's why is the non-combatant,
More time I'm going
to, as the farmer who does not fight back to a player, why do I get the 100% death penalty for minding my own business and not bothering anybody? If I fight back and I lose, I should lose more because I took the risk to fight back. But otherwise, if I'm not interested in fighting somebody in PvP, yeah, I'm just going to hands up, fold my arms, and let them kill me. I don't want to engage in that kind of PvP. That does not make a fun game for me at all. Like if there's two things that are going to break this game for me, and right now this mechanic is one of them. And this is one of these things that, when I start getting up on the forums there, I will be very vocal about. And that's what this video is me being very vocal on this system does not work. If the whole point of corruption is to disincentivize player killing, because this incentivizes it, because you're punishing the person for not fighting back. You're punishing me for not fighting back. It's like you're forcing me to enjoy being. It's really what this kind of comes down. That's what it feels like. Because I went through this in several other games. EVE Online being one of them. That's why I always stayed in safe sec. Because I'm just a miner. I'm minding my own business. This is the thing. There's so many other things in this game that create PvP. Why should someone ever need to go and look for somebody to get their PvP kicks? You have arenas, you have sieges, you have caravans. I mean, you have dungeons. I mean, there's so many things that you can do where you can engage in that PvP and just leave me the hell alone. Let's see. Do we know if flagging is going to be auto or a button you have to press? I see some issues with accidentally flagging, especially with AoEs. As far as you know, spells you're going to have to tick off on the spell as to whether or not you'll be able to use that spell and have it work with somebody who's flagged or not. So there will be a check system so that you're not accidentally using AoEs and stuff like that. That was answered in one of these. But yeah, this is the part, I'll be honest, pisses me off.
Remind you about this combatant reduction to the penalty.
I mean, I understand the logic that he's trying to put forth here, and I mean, he's going to make another good example here in a second. And I understand there's risk reward. And I'm not saying I should not drop anything. But what I'm saying is, as a non-combatant, I should not have 100% penalty. I should have maybe 50% penalty because I did not engage. I don't want this, right? Like this is the stuff that's going to make me log off. I start getting PK'd, I'm done for the day. I'm just done. I am not going to be in that situation. I'm not going to play in that environment. As a combatant, then I am willfully participating in that PvP. There I should face full penalties because I'm agreeing to it. I'm agreeing to engage in that risky behavior.
Let's do a different example. Let's do dragon seeds, and this is just an item I made up, and we're gonna say that they're hella worth a lot of gold, like lots and lots of money, and they spawned out in the wild, and it requires a master farmer to harvest, somebody who has a very, deep line into the farming profession to pick these seeds. Well, you got your, you got your PvPer, and he's keeping an eye on this dragon seed patch because what he's waiting for is a farmer to come along who's a master farmer. So now the master farmer gets done picking all these dragon seeds, and the PvPer says, "I'm going to attack you." Again, that same thought process is going to happen in the farmer's head. I have 100 dragon seeds on me, and these are pretty damn priceless. I'm going to go ahead and fight back, because even if I know I'm going to die, a combatant takes a 50% death penalty. So the farmer flags up and defends himself. The end result, again, the farmer had no chance. The farmer still dies. But let's look at what happens. The farmer's only going to gain 5,000 negative XP, and he's only going to drop 25 of those dragon seeds because he only takes a 50% death penalty. Now, our knight, he did not commit murder because the farmer flagged up to defend himself to take that reduced death penalty. He does not gain corruption, but he only gains 25 of those dragon seeds. He would have preferred, in that case, for the farmer not to flag up, because he would have gotten half of the priceless seeds.
See, and this is encouraging people to PvP. This is basically in effect forcing me to PvP where I do not want to PvP. Right? This is force, and I cannot stand games that force you to PvP. I'm more than happy to engage in PvP through all of the other systems. Right? Like I said, there's a siege system. So if you want to have a home in a metropolis, if you want to be a citizen of a metropolis, then you need to agree that as being a citizen and doing all of the work stuff inside of that metropolis, if it gets sieged, you're going to have a PvP moment. Same with caravans. If you want to run a caravan, you are openly agreeing to engage in a PvP system. If you want to become a mayor of the military node, then you have to engage in combat, right? Like, there's so many of these different systems that are already in place that allow you to join PvP that you shouldn't have to be going around forcing other people into PvP when they do not want to be part of PvP. There's guild wars, right? I don't know how we're going to do guild wars in this game. They better not be as simple as, oh, I see you're in a guild. War. We've never talked. We've never interacted. I didn't even know your guild existed until I saw you. And I'm like, I'm going to PvP my guild's going to declare war on your guild. For no other reason, I'm just declaring war on you. That to me is a very broken system. If that's the way it's going to be, I'm sorry, I'm probably not going to be a guild leader. I probably won't even be in a guild. If I am, I'm going to find an NPC guild or something like that, and I'm going to stay in it because I don't like that kind of griefing. I don't like to be extorted. And again, this all comes from EVE Online, and there's one or two other MMOs I played briefly. I am not a fan of griefing. I'm not a fan of extortion because all that's going to happen is that guild's going to declare war on you, and they're going to say, give us XYZ or else. Well, the or else is I'm just going to log off for as long as that guild war is going to be, and I'm just going to go play another game. And if that guild war or war deck goes on for over a month, well, guess what? I'm not subbing to the game while it's going on. So now you've lost my money because I am not engaging in that system. I will engage in PvP, but I'm going to engage, in sieges. I'll engage in the caravans. I'll engage in the PvP systems that are readily available. But some guy comes up and just attacks me out of nowhere, and I lose 100% or whatever. That is absolute BS, and that is, in my opinion, 100% unacceptable.
Instead of only half of a half. So again,
It's an open world MMORPG through all of the other systems. Like I said, there's so many systems in place that exist in the open world. If I'm fishing and I'm just relaxing fishing, and some dickwad comes up behind me and clubs me over the head to take half of my crap, no, I'm just done. I will log off. I'm done. I'm just done for that day, right? I do not tolerate it. That's it. I've been in Steven's own words, I've been beat like a dog already by PvP systems that force you to PvP, for no good reason. Higgins, thank you very much for the follow. It's like telling Nintendo Mario game sucks because he can fall in a pit while jumping collecting coins. You know you're going to do that, right? That's accepting the risk. That's why sieges exist, caravans, arenas, right? You're accepting those risks. If I'm fishing, where's the risk? If I'm just farming up some plants, where's the risk? Right, and so you'll know there's griefers. It's part of the game. But it's not, right? That's why the corruption system exists. If it was part of the game, there would be no corruption system. The corruption system, in Steven's own words, is to disincentivize griefing. It's to disincentivize people doing exactly what we're talking about, rolling up on somebody and just clubbing them over the head to take their stuff for no reason. That's why you get corruption. That's why there's bounty hunters, right? It's to try and tell them, not to do it, right? To not remove it. But, and I'm not saying that you can't do it, right? My argument here is, what do I lose? And I do not agree that if I do not fight back, I lose 100% of anything. I do not agree with that. I agree if I participate, if I flag, if I fight back to defend myself, then I should lose 100% of whatever. But if I'm just minding my own business and somebody comes up, because here's the problem. I'm level 10 and whatever, and some level 30, 40 comes by, they 1 or 2 shot me. How do I even fight back? Right? If I don't see them coming and they root me or whatever, I mean, my first instinct as a healer, heal thyself, physician. So I'm going to be spamming heals on me. I won't even get a chance to fight back, and some scrub has come by, and now I take 100% of all of this damage. I don't think so. That is unacceptable. And I don't think there's an argument that can be made to change my mind. Because right now, this is the best argument. And I do not accept this argument. It doesn't make sense. Non-combatants should not take the maximum penalty. Combatants should. So it should be reversed. Non-combatant, I would take 50% of the XP loss versus, and the item loss should be, that 50% as well. So rather than me losing 50 corn as a non-combatant, I would lose 50 corn as a combatant. I would lose 25. Nobody would want to world PvP. Yeah, there are people that will. I mean, there are people that will world PvP. 100%. I know people. Look at you guys. You guys are saying you want to world PvP. So you've just proven your own case wrong, right? What you want, and this is what I don't agree with, what you want is the ability to roll up on me and attack me for no reason, trying to take my stuff for your own pleasure. And I'm sorry, if that's your type of video game masturbation, go do it in another corner. I'm not interested. Let me do whatever I'm doing. Now, create a zone maybe where to enter into a zone or enter into a dungeon, you have to flag. So maybe in order for me to collect certain items, I have to go into a zone or an area where I have to PvP flag, right? I have to flag up. That's accepting the risk and reward. That is okay. I would probably do that. If I want to be master, I got to go and take those risks. That is how you do proper world PvP. And you can still have the corruption system for all of those people that work outside of those zones. There's a lot of chat here I'm missing. So, okay, it really just sounds like this isn't the type of game for you. No, this game is great. My only problem is when you're forcing people into PvP who are not wanting to do it, are not ready for it, probably aren't even geared for it, right? Because again, I'm coming at this from, the level 10 perspective and having level 30s, 40s, 50s roll in here and just start smacking people around. That does not make the game fun for me. Right? It might be your fun, but it is not my fun. And you should not be able to take away my fun just because you have a broken system. Now, I understand you can impact my fun a little bit. I mean, that's fine. Like I said, I'm not saying you can't come and kill me. Nowhere am I saying you cannot or should not be able to come and kill me. I'm saying absolutely that mechanic exists and you should be able to do that. What I'm saying is I should not have to take maximum penalty if I do not want to do that with you. Like I said, you're forcing me to enjoy that. Nobody should stand for. Absolutely none. No reason I want your stuff. So you get a little bit of my stuff, right? You kill me, you get and I do not fight back, you get a little bit of my stuff. And you get corruption because this is PK killing is supposed to be a disincentivization, right? It's supposed to be, they don't want this to be common practice. Under these current rules, it's going to be common practice because there's going to be people out there that want people to not flag just to piss them off, just to watch them rage. And I know this. I've been playing these games like this for a very long time, longer than I'm sure some of you have probably been alive. And with the current system, there's a risk, but that's fine. But it's not just about the kill. It's about a way to gain items with there being risk. Right, and you're getting the risk. You still get to kill me. You'll get corrupted, but you'll still get some of my stuff. And then all you have to do is run away, kill a few mobs, and you're going to be fine. Let's see. So you want the easy way out so you don't have to play the game. You can just get stuff free and not have to do anything. You need to stop playing the game altogether. The one that you want, you just want to take stuff from player. See, here's the thing. If I'm farming up all of this stuff, at some point I'm going to need a mule. At some point I'm going to need a caravan. At some point I will have to engage in PvP as a collector. Now you want my stuff. Well, if I can only have 100 things on me, 1,000 things on my mule, and 10,000 things on my caravan, you would be far better to go attack a caravan than attack me when I have 1% or 10% of whatever, actually it'll be 1% of whatever my caravan can have. The risk for you is actually better served attacking caravans than it is attacking players that are individual. Maybe you attack somebody with a mule out because you're going to get 1,000 goods maybe, which drop as certificates, which is another thing I don't really agree with. Let's see. They don't want griefing, but this is what it is. This is griefing to a smaller degree, right? Because you're going to have people out there that are just going to farm the lobies just for kicks. There are going to be people that don't care about the corruption. They're going to want to see how much corruption can they get just for kicks. They're going to run around probably almost naked because you have a risk of dropping gear. But if you have nothing in your inventory and you're not wearing any gear, right? You're running around with a basic sword. You still have all of your spells and abilities. If you have all of these spells and abilities, you're still going to marf somebody that doesn't have those spells and abilities. I just want to jump merchant caravans and take their goods. I have no interest in griefing solo players. Exactly. Do pirate shipping. Do caravans. I mean, the caravans is where all the money is going to be anyways. It's an MMORPG. You can ask guildies or others to help you hunt down the corrupted griefer. Well, that's why you have the bounty hunter system. Corruption isn't the only risk, though. The person fighting back is the other risk. And with your system, it would disincentivize that. It's supposed to disincentivize that. That's from Steven himself, right? Steven himself says they want to disincentivize player killing, which can lead to griefing. I mean, he said that himself. And with your system, it would disincentivize that. It would incentivize people just throwing up their hands and letting the PKer get corrupted, because that's the way to lose the least. Yes, exactly. With the current system, you have to make a choice. Do you take 100% XP hit and lose more of your goods and let you get corrupted, or do you take a 50% XP hit to try and kill me yourself? Well, and again, here's the problem with that system that I've already spoken about. You attack me, but you are so much stronger than me that you kill me before I even have the chance to fight back. What happens, right? Say I want to fight back. Say I am this guy that's farming up these dragon egg things or whatever. I don't want to lose them. And you, under the current system, you attack me because you're the guy that's been sitting here waiting for somebody to farm and come along. So you attack me, but because your class type, your archetypes, have the you have the ability to just wipe me out. Maybe I don't have the best gear because I've spent more time collecting goods and I'm leveling up that way. So you kill me before I even have the chance to turn around and target with anything. Like I said, I'm going to be a cleric. My first instinct is self-heal. Now here's the other problem, or here's the other situation, and this is another flaw in this system. You attack me, but you do not kill me. I'm attacking a mob. I'm pretty even with the mob. Like I said before, the mob's at say 50% health, and I'm at say 2/3 health. And it's a pretty good back and forth. You come up and you whack me, whack, 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 3 times. You take my health from 2/3 to under 1/3 health. And then you stop attacking me. And you sit there and you wait. Because the mob will kill me. So the mob kills me. Now you get how much of my stuff. Because I'm still going to lose my collectibles, right? I'm still going to have a corpse. I'm still going to drop stuff. Are you going to be able to loot that? Probably, because you did damage. You tagged me. You will get no corruption. I will still die. I'll take 100% loss because I didn't attack you back. And I'm still going to lose 50% of whatever I've farmed up. How is that fair, right? Because you'll get no corruption. So that's another big, really big issue in this system. Like I said, again, I am not saying that you can't roll up on somebody and kill them. And I'm not saying you shouldn't get something for it in addition to corruption. What I'm saying is I should not have to lose 100% of things because I don't fight back. Okay, that's my argument. Maybe make it less, right? I mean, when you die from an NPC, you're going to lose 100% of whatever. And here's another good question. If you see a player die to an NPC, can you still loot their corpse for whatever they dropped? Because when you respawn, you're going to respawn with less stuff. So can you do that? That would be an interesting mechanic to also include, because then, again, you don't need to PK. You can just wait for somebody to die to some creature and just roll on up and gobble up whatever he's dropped. You can hold 29 items in your character's inventory. It's one more slot than RuneScape. Now you're griefing yourself if you're corrupted. It was fun and well. Lobbies get ganked by max level people, and those lobbies call their max level guildies to come. Creates a social aspect. Yeah, unless you're not in one of those big guilds. What if that's not the case? So now, again, so you have to remember, we are all paying the same amount of money to play this game. And the idea of playing games is to relax, it's to have fun, it's to enjoy ourselves. And if you're doing something for your own pleasure that takes the pleasure of playing the game from somebody else, you know what you do? You shrink your community. And because this is a sub-based game, you're also shrinking the money that the company has to further develop more content. So you're actually hurting yourself by going out and griefing other players. I feel your pain, brother, but I'm not going to lie. I'm one of those people who think it's fun to grief others in game. Case in point. Yeah, you call your guildies for help. That's what you do in this situation. That's a good strat. Letting mod kill someone. I actually agree with you that the penalties should be flipped. On that same note, I really hope they make running caravans worth it, or no one will even bother. Well, again, because Caravans have, well, I guess Caravan's capacity is 10,000 times what the player can hold. So as long as I guess the caravan you're attacking has maximum loot capacity, you will make off like a bandit. I mean, you're going to do very, very well. You're going to pick up all these certificates and take them back somewhere, and you're going to get far more than you would have gotten from just killing one player in some far off glade somewhere. I mean, again, I think the only people that are really going to go out and engage in this player killing BS is the people that are actually looking to grief. They want to make somebody else miserable. And I don't like that. I want a positive, fun community. I want a fun, positive experience. And again, while I accept somebody can roll up, beam me in the back of the head, and take my stuff, that I understand is part of the game, and I'm okay with that. It's how much do I lose? Why should I lose, in this example, 10,000 XP because I didn't engage or couldn't engage? What if you root me, right? What if I am a physical combat character, a fighter, or something like that? You root me from afar, and then you just spell me to death. I couldn't fight back, right? I don't have something that gets me up because maybe I'm not a high enough level to get around your CC. So I can't fight back. I can't do anything to you because maybe you're out of range because you're a higher level and your spell range is farther than my spell range, right? And you can maintain that distance, right? I mean, there's so many mechanics that can go into this that the system just does not make sense. He doesn't seem to be interested in what others want. Well, Jalen has been after him for stuff like that, and we'll see. I'm hoping Steven will see this because this is going to go up on YouTube, and I'm hoping he will watch this and maybe he'll understand the point of view that I'm sharing because I know plenty of other people are also going to understand this. Here's the great thing, and Rick, I hope you're in the betas because I hope you're in the betas, and I'm hoping you're doing exactly what you're saying you're going to do, because I think that is very quickly going to show that this current system doesn't work. Because what they're going to get from feedback from people like me that you're doing this to is this is utter and complete BS. Because one of the questions is going to be how likely are you to subscribe to the game, and it's going to be like, you know what, I'm kind of changing my mind here. And if they see too much of that, they will have to change the system. And all I'm saying is flip it. Just flip the system, right? If I engage, I lose less stuff. You still get stuff. In fact, it's better for you because you do not get corrupted, and you get to do the forehead on the midget who's swinging for the hills as you go dead, 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 right? With your spells, right? Just boom, boom, boom. Meanwhile, you got the head on the hand on the forehead, right? And I'm sitting there going like this. I can't hit you, and you're like, woohoo, spell dead. Now you get your stuff. Give me your stuff. And you'll get less of my stuff, but you won't get corruption. Whereas, if I stand there and just let you kill me, I keep more of my stuff. You get corrupted, but you still get a little bit. So it's going to incentivize you to pick your targets very carefully. As opposed to, hey, there's a Lobie over there. Let's kill him. That doesn't happen in real life. Have you thought of interviewing Steven on your stream? I've asked. I've sent a PM. But yeah, I do have. This is definitely one of my discussion questions. Yeah, so there's a lot of chat here. I'm not going to be able to watch all of it. They had mentioned on stream that they want to force you into social situations, even if you're not chatting, etc. You'll still have to interact with others. I would expect that to be more than a antagonistic PvP experience, because if that is a social situation that they want to funnel players into, you're going to lose, I would say, at least a third of your community. Because there's going to be, remember, you have a lot of people that are going to be coming over from like World of Warcraft, right? And World of Warcraft doesn't have an open world PvP in general experience, right? Their PvP is you have to pick it in order to do it, right? You have to flag yourself to engage in PvP. And you can do that in this game too. So, yeah, you're going to have some Care Bears. And yeah, I will admit, I'm probably a Care Bear as far as this goes. WoW became very casual to cater to the snowflakes. Yeah, exactly. Look at WoW now. Let's see. It's an MMO. If you're a good gatherer, players might want to group up with you and help you harvest instead. It's up to you how you come out of a conflict situation. You can make an enemy or a friend. And you know what? I completely agree with that. And I would hope, because of the guild system and how social the guild system looks to be, that that is exactly what will happen. But you're going to have situations where I might be up a little later at night than the rest of my guildies, and I just want to go and do a little gathering, right? I shouldn't have to constantly be looking over my shoulder, because in that situation, I'm probably just going to sit in a tavern and just talk, right? It basically, it becomes, literally a chat room for people in that instance. From the interview Steven has done, he seems to be interested in what others want, but is very focused on bringing his own dream game to life. I'm happy about that, but if it means he doesn't bend onto the snowflakes, I would take it one more step than that, Clockwork, because I've been watching a lot of Jalen's videos, and there's a lot of situations where Jalen has commented how, yes, Steven is very open to listening to what people have to say, but it doesn't seem like he's so much interested in really taking a lot of that to actual heart. Because Jalen said he's had a lot of conversations. He's even had arguments with Steve over certain aspects of this game. Steve's that rich kid that's going to get the game he wants to play. We're getting invited into this world, but at the end of the day, this is his game. He wants to play his game. What we say or think, I don't think matters as much as we might think what we say or think really means. And that's perfectly acceptable. It's his game. It's his money. He can spend it and do with it whatever he wants. I'm hoping he's understanding enough that if he wants people to play his game with him, he may have to listen to a segment of the population that maybe doesn't see eye to eye. I would like to believe that my particular focus on this area is probably going to be shared with maybe a minority, but I would say a significant part of the minority. And if we decide we don't want to play this game, who's left to play it? Well, it's all of you guys. And it's all of the people that want to grief and want to PK. Well, then you're griefing and PKing each other. Awesome. Have a good time. Maybe some of us will go play something else. Who knows? I don't think it's going to get that far. I mean, I have faith that he is going to actually listen. I think in his mind right now, he's looking at all of the systems that he wants. He's like, I want these to work. But I'm hoping through alpha and beta testing that what players have been saying, that he's hoping, that are counter to maybe some of his vision, will come true, right? That he's going to say, okay, you guys are right. This isn't working exactly how I hoped it would work. We're going to have to modify the system at least a little bit. Like I said, if I don't fight back, maybe I lose 75%, not 100%. So if I flag up, I lose 50%. If I don't flag, I lose 75. What I'm saying is there needs to be a compromise. I shouldn't be dying to a PKer and getting a 100% penalty. That is just, that's unreasonable, because I would say 99% of all situations with PKers, I cannot even hope to win if I fight back. It's a guaranteed loss. This is forcing me to enjoy something. I'm hoping Steve hears that and he realizes that situation that he's potentially putting people in. I keep making examples like I'm level 10 and a level 15 or a level 30. I've actually said 10 and level 30. In reality, I'll have conflicts with other players just like you. But that's the difference, right? If I'm level 10 and another level 10 rolls up on me, yeah, I'll probably fight back because I stand a chance of winning. My examples are based around the majority, 99% of the situations where I don't stand a hope in hell of winning. I mean, I'd be lucky to even damage anybody, because in my experiences of this exact same kind of situation, it is always somebody that's significantly higher level, who has a very significant advantage, that's coming in, and they're doing it for giggles, right? They're doing it for fun. See, you want to talk about an AOC kill. If you leave it like this, then it will die. I mean, it won't kill the game, but it's going to hurt it. I get where the streaming is coming from, though. Sometimes I just want a PvE, and I play certain games that let me do that. When I want a PvP-oriented game, though, I would never want those PvE elements forced onto others, just so I can do it in game. Yeah, like I said, my point is that there are so many systems to PvP in this game already. Though I can't imagine really a good excuse for somebody to go and player kill. I really can't think of a good excuse. The only reason to do it is to be antagonistic. The only reason I can think to do it is to, out of malice, to be mean to somebody because you want a power trip, right? I mean, if you want my loot, attack my caravan. Because believe me, I'm going to have caravans, and they're probably going to be filled to the brim from stuff that I'm farming, because I'm a loot whore, and that's what I'm going to do. But also, though, I might just fill a caravan with gray item rotten boots or something, right? So I mean, there's that. I don't have 130 million. I'd probably just stop playing video games. Well, this game's costing about 40 million. This isn't Star Citizen, and Star Citizen's at like 300 million right now, I think. The joke was that how Steven got his money. Okay, well, I mean, who really cares? The guy earned his money. Right? He used the system that exists, and I think he's making the game that we all want to play. Right? Those of us who've been around MMOs for a very long time, I think this is the game we've all wanted to see for a long time. Like I said, there's only two issues I have with this game. Just two. There's this system and how do guild wars happen? I want the answer to that. That's it. There is nothing else about this game that I have any potential negative feelings towards. Everything else I've seen and heard has me jonesing for this game, right? I mean, this game looks phenomenal. I just think forcing people into PvP is a bad idea. I think I'm kind of caught up. If I miss some stuff, I'm really sorry. There's a lot of chat there.
These are my conceptual examples. These are not from Intrepid, but this is just to put the mentality out there that, yes, people are going to defend themselves. They are going to flag because they don't want to lose as much stuff. It's going to work the same way for ore. Yeah, I have 100 iron ore on me. Yeah, you're going to kill me for 100 iron ore? Take your corruption. I have 100 diamonds on me. I'm probably going to fight back so I only lose half of my drop instead of my whole drop. I'm going to talk about the lore for just a second. For those of you guys know,
the lore stuff is cool. I actually kind of like this, and I'm looking forward to learning more about the lore, because the lore is what really gets my interest. I do really like a good story and characters.
So that I'm big on immersion. I'm big on reasons and explanations for why I'm doing what I'm doing. And there was a great calamity that happened on Vera, and all the Varans were forced to flee their homes. And the corruption is responsible for the exodus to Sanctus. Citizens fled through these divine gateways. This calamity is so just detrimental that the gods themselves had to intervene in order to save the people of Vera.
Oh my god, gods that actually proved that they existed? Gee, it'd be nice if we could see some of that here on Earth.
Now, if you don't know all of the lore, remember that the
Who am I
four
triggering
major
now?
races were created in the god's image. The remaining 7, the
I did.
7 had
You put it in the wrong channel,
10,
bub.
They made a race called the Ancients.
But I
made
did.
The Ancients just like the gods. After a big war, they had to divide out their divine characteristics among 4 races. Remember, the Tulnar, you come about later. Not everybody made it through the gateways. They entered the gateways, but the call got disconnected, the slipstream got disrupted, and they got shot back to Vera. And this is the setting for Apocalypse Battle Royale. Why are you crashing back to the planet, killing everybody? Because your mind is infected with the corruption. It's already too late for you. Even though you see...
Yeah, see, so all you guys out there who want to actively participate in this PK stuff, and you're more than happy to get the corruption, you're already infected. I kid, of course. I mean, I'm very passionate about this, and it's going to piss me off and frustrate the hell out of me, but I am still going to play this game.
See that storm. You're trying to survive the corruption storm.
So yes, I am pretty sure all of you guys have Beck Altar, kill an open world because reasons. I know you guys. I know. I'm on your bucket list.
Already affected by the corruption because you have to eliminate everybody. You think by doing that, you're going to survive. And you crash back to the planet on a magically spawned griffin, but that's okay. It's okay. The corruption.
Apparently, there was a lot more griffins back then that you could mount on, and that's probably why they're so rare now, because all the griffins, for the most part, probably got wiped out because, all these corrupted people were doing all that. Well, eventually, yeah, you will know what server I'm on because you guys, for some reason, think I'm going to be a good guild master. Okay.
Mechanic is tied to the lore.
Be like, yeah, where's your guild master? Oh, he's over there picking daisies and flowers and herbs. Oh, does he want to come and do this raid? No, man, our guild master, he's not even close to being max level because he's picking daisies and roses and tulips while everybody else in the guild is probably max level.
It's why people can kill you without taking a penalty. It's because you're so twisted. You're no longer a man or a woman. You're no longer a
Oh, see? Jalen thinks you're no longer a man or a woman if you like this kind of combat system. You heard it from Jalen, guys. Not from me. He said you're not a man or a woman if you want to engage in this kind of stuff. See, to me, that's every reason not to engage in PKing.
Sentient being, you're a monster. And that's why
you're monsters, he says. You're monsters.
Also, remember, corruption is partially responsible for the creation of the Talnar. When we get a little bit more information on that, I'll talk about it. But remember, the Talnar are the result of the gods intervening for people that were corrupted and mixed with the minor races and the.
I will edit this down for YouTube.
A little bit there for you to go and.
It's longer than I was expecting it would be.
Talnar fan. And that's it for today. I wanted to cover corruption in depth. It's really hard to talk to people.
So that's the end of that video there. So let's look at bounty hunting. And I haven't looked too much into bounty hunting. In fact, I think this will be the first time I've watched this video. So the idea here is there something in bounty hunting that will change my mind?
All right, guys, it's Shalom with the Paradox Gaming Network. And today we're going to talk a little Ashes of Creation. We're going to talk about the new information we got on bounty hunters and the specific mechanics of how bounty hunters and the corrupted.
So this guy's younger than I am, and he's already got gray at the temples. I wonder what kind of stressful life he lives. I wish my beard was grayer because then come Christmas time when I'm working, I'm not spending so much money on spray. I mean, I am getting kind of gray there. That's a gray one. That's a gray one. I think that's a gray one. I'm getting there.
Engage with each other and how this changes.
That's what I mean. He's younger than I am.
Corruption and PvP flagging mechanics. Now I'm doing this one today because
he's getting pretty gray up here.
Summit's Twitch stream and Asmongold's Twitch stream. So I want to welcome you guys. And unfortunately, since we don't have any in-game
probably
footage
plays
of this,
classic
I am going to have to go with the old reliable PowerPoint. And I know it's painful, but we can't.
Actually, I think PowerPoint's a good idea. I've actually thought about maybe incorporating
the first thing we're going to talk
some
about
PowerPoint into my videos.
Corruption flagging. Now, thanks to the people over at the Community Wiki, we have this nice chart that breaks down how flagging works. If you want a little bit more detail, up there in the upper right-hand corner, I have an entire video done on corruption. And then in the description below, I have a link to the Ashes 101
just
page
to be unique.
On corruption. Now, this is where I need to do a stop and a timeout. If you don't understand corruption, pause the video, get smart on corruption, because we're going to be talking about the exceptions to these rules. And what happens here is bounty hunters have special rules. Bounty hunters can activate a pathfinding ability.
It's all those years at sea there.
Track the corrupted on their map. Once a bounty hunter flags up to hunt corrupted, they remain a combatant for an hour. Now you'll notice I underlined combatant. I didn't make it purple because this only applies to the corrupted. So this is why you need to understand the original rule set before you can really deal with the bounty hunters. Because what's going to happen here is you're going to bring up your standard non-combatant and your combatant flag states and your corrupted flag state, and we're used to green, purple, and red. The problem is that when we start talking about bounty hunters, they're going to come up in this gradient color. They're green on one side, they're purple on the other. The reason why is they are now a fourth flagged state that has special conditions. So versus a non-combatant, you will see that you have a mutual green arrow. Non-combatants don't attack each other, so their statuses really don't apply. When it comes to engaging with combatants, this is a one-way arrow because a combatant can attack a bounty hunter, but the bounty hunter is treated as a non-combatant for corruption determination versus a normal combatant, and that's why they're green on their side of the circle.
So that just means that, again, a bounty hunter can kill a corrupted and not get corruption, just like everybody else can. But I would imagine if the bounty hunter attacks a non-combatant, I would think they would probably get corruption.
Where a bounty hunter is flagged for legal combat is only versus the corrupted. A bounty hunter with their toggle on is a valid target for all corrupted.
So they're not PvP enabled.
And the corrupted do not gain additional corruption
that's interesting.
for killing bounty hunters. When we jump into that, these are special rules specifically for the corrupted, and this is where a lot of people had some issues. Corrupted do not suffer reduced combat penalties versus the bounty hunters, so their combat proficiency is not reduced. It still is reduced when they're attacking non-combatants and they're attacking normal combatants, but in that state where they're attacking a flagged bounty hunter, their combat proficiency is not reduced.
Okay, so if you're corrupted and you attack a bounty hunter, you're at full strength. If a bounty hunter attacks you as a corrupted, again, as a corrupted, you're at full strength versus a bounty hunter, which is kind of cool because it kind of creates a faction. So you could have an unofficial corrupted faction with kind of an unofficial bounty hunter faction. And that's kind of cool.
I'll say it again, corrupted do not gain additional corruption from killing bounty hunters. A lot of people were concerned about that.
So it's almost like a regular PvP combat.
If they defend themselves, the corrupted person has to choose between dying or getting more corruption. So this should alleviate a lot of people's concerns. Also, this essentially creates one of those quasi-faction wars Stephen talked about in those interviews over the weekend.
That's cool. I like that.
To note that Stephen has talked about he will make this a permanent flag state so that bounty hunters will always have their pathfinding on and that corrupted will always be able to attack without penalty. What I need you to do is when this is in testing, you got to give lots of feedback. You got to give both the good and the bad so Intrepid can make informed decisions based on what the community wants. With that said, becoming a bounty hunter, we don't have all the details. Right now it's a quest in stage 4 military nodes, and we believe it's only open to citizens. However, Stephen talked about he may open this up, so any citizen of a node allied with a stage 4 or higher military node, their citizens would be able to get the bounty hunter title. Also, any citizens of a node that is a vassal of a military node might be able to get the bounty hunter title as well.
So, okay, we have here, I guarantee there will be identification of corrupted players in some shape or form, whether it be an emblem or something on a board or an emblem above their head that is color oriented. Yeah, well, your names change color, right? So you have like your regular name color is green. Purple is, or bluish purple is flagged, and red will be corrupted. And I would imagine a bounty hunter is probably going to have its own color. Oh, as far as their worth, like, well, I guess yeah. I mean, if it's a bounty, you would earn something from a bounty, wouldn't you? I wonder how that works. Like, because with the player-driven economy, how do you create a value for the bounty that you're hunting? Because obviously, yeah, why are you bounty hunting in the first place, right? Like what are you getting for that? So that's a good point. That's a really good question, actually. I hadn't actually thought of that. Here, killing a low-level player while you're max level will give you more corruption than killing someone of the same level. Yes, when you're doing like the corruption thing. But this is bounty hunting, and bounty hunting is a little different. They also drop their gear as well. Well, they have a chance at dropping gear. So that could be a factor in identification as well. Yeah, like depending on how much corruption you have, you may drop gear. So say you come and killed me and you're 10, 15 levels higher than me, so I don't have a chance. You're only going to get so much corruption. But because that was your first player kill, you're only going to get so much corruption. Not enough to drop any weapons or anything, but it's going to be enough that you're going to take the XP hit on death, and some of your spells might lose some effectiveness. So bounty hunter comes up and wipes you out. You won't drop anything because you don't have that much corruption. Now, say you come upon me and my 7 other guildies, because we'll probably be a small guild. So you come up and you manage to wipe out all of us, and we all just decide that we're just going to do the dance emote while you beat us to bloody pulps. Now your little bit of corruption goes to a lot of corruption. Now you might stand the chance of dropping an item when you get killed, and a lot of your spells and abilities are not going to do really much of anything, right? Because you have so much corruption, you've probably lost a level or two of effectiveness with your spells or abilities. So the bounty hunter comes up and kills you when you've killed me, when you've killed one of us. They're not going to get an item. So what do they get from you? They're probably going to get whatever loot you have. But I'm thinking if you're corrupted, you know you're corrupted. I mean, you're running around naked, right? Like if you know somebody's going to come rolling up on you, chances are, because you can see the bounty hunters too, right? You can see the bounty hunters. They can see you in the map or in the world or something like that. So you'll know, oh, I got bounty hunters are coming for me. I better put my stuff in storage, and you'll just dance on top of a mailbox naked, right? Waiting for that bounty hunter. So the bounty hunter comes and kills you. You die. You take the XP hit. Now you have no more corruption. What does a bounty hunter get? Now, in the situation where you've killed like my entire team of 8 people, chances are, again, you drop some loot if you are killed. But again, you can still see the bounty hunter. They can see you. You know they're coming. So you run to your town, you go to your apartment or whatever. Well, I guess at that point, you also get restricted services. So you may not be able to get into your apartment. You can get into your freehold if you have one. But if you have a player house or apartment in the metropolis, they might lock the doors on you. That might be possible. Yeah, I think the town guards will attack. Do you get more corruption killing town guards? Because if you're a high enough level and you're in like a village or something like that, village state where you have a house, the guards will be a lower level than they will at a metropolis. And if you can take those guards out and get into your house, you could be safe there too. Like there's so many things we have to learn. There's so many things that we need to get into the beta for to kind of check out. I mean, look at WoW though, right? Like if you're in the crossroads, the guards, well, originally were a lower level. The flight master was always high level, but the guards themselves were lower level in like crossroads and WoW. Where if you went to Orgrimmar, the guards were a lot tougher. And then later on, they made all the guards max level. Alex says, what do you think about this? Steven Sheriff wants non-combatants to be able to kill corrupted players. The guy in this video says this would be broken and non-combatants shouldn't be able to fight players at all. I agree with Steven on this one though, because should you just let a corrupted player keep killing you over and over again without being able to fight back? Well, that kind of gets into the whole bit I had about this video earlier. Corrupted, mechanically speaking, are seen by the system as an NPC. That's why you can attack a corrupted player and not become corrupted yourself, because as far as the server is concerned, a corrupted player is not actually a player. It's seen as being a bear, a boar, a deer, whatever. I also think it's dumb that if you want to stay non-combatant, that you have to just stand there and let them kill you. I think it would be better if the only thing that matters was who initiates the fight. If I'm playing peaceful PvE and some combatant player tries to kill me, I should be able to defend myself and not just stand there. And you can. There's nothing saying you can't. The difference is if you stand there and let the other person kill you, you take 100% death penalty. So you lose whatever the experience is, and you'll also lose a certain amount of items. Where if you fight back, regardless if you can win or not, if you fight back, you only take 50% death penalty. My point of view on that is that should be reversed. Or as a non-combatant, if I do not fight back, I should lose maybe 75. I should take 75 or 60% of death penalty, not 100%.
Said there are some benefits to being a bounty hunter. The big one is you get to kill the bad guys. You get to basically spank corrupted players who are out there murdering lobies or ganking. You get to go and, get a little righteous justice. Probably some more systems down the road. probably those augments or enchants Steven was talking about in the tied to those 6-month PvP seasons. We don't have any specific sound bites on that, so I say probably. Sometimes when I throw probably out there, Steven sees it and he gets back to me. So we're throwing out the bait, see if we can get a bite.
Alex says here, exactly, that makes no sense. If you fight back, you take a chance of winning the fight. Why would they punish you for wanting to stay non-combatant? It's, in my opinion, it's forcing you into PvP because that's how it feels when I've played this exact same mechanic in other video games. It doesn't work for casual. I mean, you have to think about the casual player here. I probably won't be playing as a casual player. I'll be putting in probably pretty good hours into this game. But if you have some guy that's playing this game an hour or 2 or 3, maybe a week, he's got kids, family, 2 jobs. Well, kids and family would kind of be the same thing. So sorry for the kind of double negative there, right? But they're only playing 1, 2, 3 hours a week. All of their time they're spending is out grinding materials and mats and whatever. PKer comes by, kills them. They don't fight back, and they've literally lost their entire day of whatever they've done, right? Because they've lost 50% of the loot that they've gathered, and they lose 100% XP penalty. Well, how long is it going to take them to grind back that experience and get those pieces of the items back? That could, I mean, if you killed them halfway through the hour that they've been playing, you've just basically, that whole hour is gone, right? Like, to get back to where they were at that point, they have to spend the next half an hour. How likely is somebody like that to stick around in the long term? How likely? We need people like those in the game because, again, they're still paying the same $15 as everybody else. I'm going to get more value out of my $15 because I'm probably going to spend 100 hours playing the game a month, if not more. My cost per minute is going to be a lot lower than somebody who is playing, 3 or 4 hours a week for their $15, right? And AOC isn't for everyone. I'm sorry, it's kind of a cop-out, right? That's like saying I agree to disagree. I mean, that's not an argument. True, I mean, to a degree, it's not for everyone, but at the same time, there is something for everyone in AOC. It's just, how do you balance all of these things together? And I think that corruption system versus non-combatants, I think that is not balanced properly yet. And I'm hoping it will be. I really hope they will find a balance for it. And I think 100% damage for non-combatants in a PK system that's not balanced. That's not disincentivizing player killing. You're forcing people to do something that they don't necessarily want to do. And like I said, there are so many PvP systems. It's not even efficient to kill a player. Attack their caravan. You'll get far more stuff. I thought of this game of something trying to be appealing for both PvE and PvP players. Like, I get that it's obviously more PvP centric. But if they really punish you this hard for wanting to play PvE as a non-combatant, they might as well get rid of non-combatant as a status, because you're like a piñata if you don't fight back. Very well said. I 100% agree. That is very well said. Couldn't have said it better myself, and I've tried. Bub says, crafters in Ashes will be able to influence the unique stats on their created items based on their mastery, and will have their names showcased on the items they create so the server knows their accomplishment. So yeah, even a casual can do something like that. Rick says those people can play WoW. It's better suited for them. I don't know. WoW's not what it used to be.
And then I know people are going to ask about the player bounties on people. There's no details on that yet, and I'm going to be honest, guys, not sure 100% that that's a thing yet.
Well, it should be a thing.
A lot of times,
that's
somebody
what a bounty
starts
hunter
a rumor
is.
and it gets running. And then, even if there are player bounties on other players, it's not part of this system, so I didn't feel it was important enough to wait. Let's just get this video out there. And with that said, guys, I do want to once again welcome everyone that's joined.
Okay, so that's the end of his video here. Final thoughts. So you have bounty hunting system, sieges, caravans, arenas, I'm sure some dungeons and possibly some zones will probably be PvP. So there are so many ways to PvP in this game. Corruption, I think, is an awesome idea. I really like the concept of corruption, where if somebody is out there trying to be mean to lower level players just because they can, because really that's the only reason I can think of. I don't know. As far as the bounty system goes, if you have a bounty hunter, you should have a bounty system. There should be a reward system. My guess is going to be not monetary. It's probably going to be either like a bounty coin system where it'll be like its own currency, or you're going to go up a separate talent tree where as you collect bounties, you'll gain points for a different tree that will allow you to, I would think, probably find corrupted easier. I'm thinking you're probably going to have like a map thing where you open up your map and then the corrupted will show as like little red dots in the map, and then you have to run in that direction. And then as you skill that up, you might actually be able to see them move on the map. And then it may get to a point where if you're in the same node, you might get like a little HUD glow or something that will kind of show in what direction they are, so you can kind of home in on them. I could see that being a bounty skill, and that would kind of be like in line with some of the other skills that they've already been talking about. So yeah, I'm not saying they need to radically change the corruption system as far as non-combatants and combatants. All I'm saying is it needs a little bit more balance. If you accept the combat and you participate, you should really lose more, not less. Because again, you're forcing somebody to do something they don't want to do. And in 99.9 of the cases that I've experienced in my 20 some years of MMOs, the person that's doing the player killing is of a sufficient level that the victim doesn't stand much of a chance. Alex says, well, the corruption system is a great idea. I just don't agree with the fact that non-combatants turn combatant just for defending themselves, like they don't choose to fight, and also that you lose more for not fighting back. Basically, you get punished no matter what you do as a non-combatant. Yeah, granted, as the loser of a fight, you should lose something, right? You're the loser. Losers lose, winners get something. I'm not arguing against that. I'm just saying that the penalty system, I don't think is very balanced. I think it needs some changes. Rick says they can just make it so if the griefer is more than 5 levels than you, you don't lose experience / drop items. That I would agree with to a point. That again, that's a decent compromise. I would say, yeah, if there's a 5 level difference, then yeah, you should, what you lose should be dependent on the level difference, right? So I wouldn't say just because they're 5 levels higher than you that you should lose nothing or no experience. You still died, right? There still needs to be a death penalty of some kind. Maybe for every 5 levels above you, the penalty is reduced, right? So if it's same level, or within 5 levels, you lose the 100% as it stands right now. So if you come at me, we're both level 15, you come at me, and I just go, no, I don't want none of this, and you kill me, I still lose 100%. Exactly how it is right now, that I would be okay with, provided that, now if you're level 20, then I lose, say, 10% less. So rather than 100%, it goes down to 90%, right? Because it's 10 levels. Depending on how I built my class, I might still be able to eke out a win. Now you're level 25. Now it goes down another 10%, right? So now I die, I lose 80% of my stuff because really my stuff might still be useful to you, and I still lose a little bit of my of the XP, right? 80% XP left. And then eventually, yeah, you get to a point where a level 50, if you're like, say, more than 20 levels, I'd say at the 20 level point, it would be you lose 10% as a maximum and 10% of whatever you would have dropped, right? So at least there's still some reward for the level 50 guy. But the level 50 guy is killing a level 15 for what reason, right? It's just to grief. They don't want the loot or whatever that you have. Let's see, K-Bub, he said he'd look up and read a comment. I'm just going to go bounty hunter and become combatant versus corrupted. But I don't like the idea of becoming corrupted, so I will not be partaking on griefing style gameplay, but only if need be from a contesting standpoint. And when you're contesting, you don't get corruption, right? Because sieges, caravans, and whatnot, those are contested, right? Or I guess if you're in a dungeon. So say you're in a dungeon and you want to keep a room you're in, and another group comes in because you're farming the room and they want to farm that room too, and they're not taking no for an answer, and you get into that kind of a combat situation. Again, you're not going to take corruption unless you attack them and they just stand there, which is a viable strategy, right? To try and force you to become corrupted, because then your stats go down and then they can come back into the dungeon and you're weaker because now you're corrupted and try and take you out. Judo says, I would prefer if you could fight back without punishment. If someone initiates on you and you can fight back without getting corrupted. Well, you can. You can fight back without getting corrupted. You don't take corruption for engaging in a consensual battle. You only get corrupted if you kill somebody who does not fight back, who does not flag. See, somebody could flag and not fight back, and you would not get corruption because they flagged too. Yeah, Alex, I think, said the same thing. Sorry. You don't get corrupted for fighting back, so that's something at least. But you do turn combatant, and that sucks if you want to have peaceful playstyle and stay non-combatant. Now, I wonder how long it takes to unflag. In World of Warcraft, it's 5 minutes. So if they have something similar to that, I think that's okay. That's kind of acceptable. Ridiculous says they should make it so while you're in corrupted status and you kill a player, that player killed has a chance of dropping his ear or scalp as a trophy. Yeah, a little Diablo there. Absolutely. That would be cool too. I mean, it would be interesting for somebody to have a wall of ears or something, or ears and fingers, whatever, like a wall of PK trophies. That would incentivize it a little bit. But even in a PvP situation, right? Like if you kill somebody in open world PvP, yeah, you get some sort of dog tag or something, right? Just to show who you've killed as a form of bragging rights. That I think is cool. I think stuff like that is really neat, and I think it'll really allows us to personalize our characters a little bit more. Yeah, when does this come out? About 2020. I think it's going to come out before then, because they're already ahead of schedule by a couple of months. So if everything is going as it has been, my hope is Q4 2021 or very early 2022. So I'm hoping we'll see it in about a year. That's kind of my hope. K-Man AOC, thank you very much for the follow. And I'm not saying everything that I'm saying everybody needs to agree with. I'm stating my case. I'm making my argument on what I perceive as a primarily PvE player, as a Care Bear, as I see as a flaw. I'm not saying scrap it. I'm just saying it just needs some tweaking to make it a little more acceptable to myself. But otherwise, I do like the concept of the corruption system. I do think it's a lot of fun. I like the idea of the bounty hunters because, again, it adds one more system of PvP and it creates that quasi-faction system that doesn't otherwise exist. And I like that. I think that's a wonderful idea. I just think the penalty for not attacking back is unreasonable and unfair versus if you return combat. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I know I'm using a very strong language reference when I make my point, but that is because I feel very strongly about my position. And you guys are welcome to try and change my mind. You may succeed, but as it stands right now, I'm not sure that you can. Alex says, if the flagging only lasts for like 5 minutes, that would be all right then, I guess. Though thought that if you decide to fight back as a non-combatant player, you would stay combatant for days or weeks. No, I don't think so. Corruption will last as long as you live if you don't try to burn off the corruption. So if you get corruption and you don't kill any mobs or anything like that, and nobody kills you and you don't die from the environment, you will remain corrupted forever. Now I wonder if you're part of a party and say you're going through a dungeon or something like that, your party is killing all the mobs, and because you're grouped up, would you still get a share of that XP, and that would just naturally erode your corruption to non-existence? Or would you physically have to attack the creatures to get corruption? Because what I'm thinking is I mean, you could be actively gaining corruption by killing people while the rest of your group is out farming mobs nearby, and you're ticking up in experience, negating that corruption potentially almost as fast as you're collecting it. That would be interesting to see if that works as well. And that's kind of the same question of, if I'm a healer and you're corrupted and I heal you, what happens to me, right? Do I become corrupted or do I just become flagged? And and if I just become flagged, then well, obviously I won't become corrupted. Or what if you're attacking a non-combatant and I'm buffing you and that combatant dies? Would I gain any corruption because I didn't attack the non-combatant, but I buffed you, which basically made you stronger and might have tipped the balance to killing that person if they had fought back? Would I get corruption? So there's a lot of questions here, and it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. And I'm definitely going to be trying to test the corruption system to some degree, thinking somebody else is going to probably beat me to it, and we'll have lots of videos and lots of discussion. And I'm looking forward to that discussion. Alex says, I'm really much less worried about this game if you only stay combatant for a few minutes. Doesn't have to be 5, like 10 or 20 would be acceptable as well. But I just don't want to turn into a PvP player for a long time just because I fought back. Yeah, no, and I get that too. And thank you very much for the follow, Ridiculous. I appreciate it. Well, and welcome back to the stream. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of debate that's going to come from a lot of this. I think this is a system that is unfinished, which is why I don't think we have a lot of information, especially when it comes to the bounty hunter system. I haven't looked on the forums, but my guess is this is already a very hotly debated topic. I am probably not adding anything new to this conversation. I'm probably repeating something that many people have already said in the forum, so I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record. But I did want to put a video together talking about just these things and my thoughts and feelings about it. And as you can tell, if you've been here for a lot of the video, I'm quite passionate about my thoughts and feelings on this, simply because of the frustration that I have gone through with other games. So I'm going to end things here. I'm going to thank you guys so much for being a part of this stream this afternoon. I'm always open for talking Ashes of Creation because there is so much in this game that we can talk about and debate. So big huge thank you to all of you for being a part of the stream and your thoughts and comments. I do appreciate all of them, even if we don't agree. That's okay. If we had more time, and perhaps we will, I would love to get a better idea about why do you feel the way you do, because I think understanding why somebody feels the way they do is sometimes better than what they feel about something. That in itself might change my mind. Big thank you to my subscribers: Kaibub, Aaliyah Bryn, Drickpick, Jenna Fleur, Yonamu, Lentham11, Upfront Poop Dog, The Orange Banana Peel and his girlfriend, Steerum, Mick J, Kozlov the Red, Make253, Gramp Games, Random Runes, Ornithosophalus, Core Code, Donald Brown, Sid the Kid, and Vroomsta, one of my other POG donators. And I want to thank Jalen as well from Ashes 101 for putting these videos together. Follow him on the Paradox Gaming Network. I will tag his channel under this video. He has a lot of really good content. Please go check him out and give him a follow as well, because a lot of this stuff that I'm talking about is coming from him. And yeah, he's been at this a lot longer than I have. Thank you very much, Birdie, for the follow. You guys have yourselves a wonderful afternoon, and we'll see you in a few hours.